Tuck are back there probably making out. Hello, salutations and greetings. My name's Marge. I'm a Heyoka. I see out there in the world that there is the Heyoka, but I don't know what the fuck that means. Because that implicates that there is like a hierarchy of Heyoka, and it's just a heart space. That's all it is. Go read about it. Some people call it sacred clowns, but I don't think it's that deep at this point. Maybe another 20 years, if I live to be another 20, 25 years, maybe I'll take on that coin of phrase. But nah, we're just the contrary. We just like to get people to think. See, I don't care if people agree with anything that I say, because I've been on my own trajectory of train of thought my whole entire life. Okay, so it don't hurt my feelings if people listen to what I have to say and go, well, that's a bunch of crap, because, mostly people are limited in scope, and I got a broader spectrum than the average. There's nothing about me that is average. Anyway, today was kind of an interesting day. I played the Spectator today, went down to the coffee shop. I have a problem with greediness and selfishness, and there was an exchange last week where a guy, I think he spent his career like in the NSA or something like that, and he got it because he got the job because his dad was lieutenant colonel. It's all nepotism and stuff, right? So you got these people that are in these government position career. They got the pension. They drive the local government's cars and stuff. They get cars paid for by the government, so they don't got to put wear and tear on their own and stuff like that. So so they got all this extra, right? And now we're in a time in the world where it is going to need to be the people in local areas that are helping their communities, because nobody else is going to do it. And there's fine examples. Yeah, I never really liked those heart space, those people that tell you what to do. Do it like this, when they don't. Those bureaucrats is what I call them. Do as I say, but don't do what I do. But do as I say. Dude, your own children don't listen to you. That's why they're so adamant about their control, because in some place in their life they don't have any. So when people feel powerless and out of control in one kind of area, they overcompensate. Yeah, unless they're a balanced human being and they have a spiritual practice to balance the mind, body, and spirit. But how many people do that in this day and age? I'm looking for the good examples in life. I got to talk to a dear sweet earth angel today. She's the woman that has helped me more than anybody else in my whole entire life. Call her Aunt Jeannie. Fragine. Got to spend some quality time on the phone this morning. See, because we are kindred spirits, so we are close in energetic frequency, and I know that she has been having a hard time. I know that she has. I've been having a hard time. Some days I get mad at God. He doesn't mind, as long as you don't stay mad at him for any long duration. But he understands that our will doesn't align with his, and sometimes it's off-putting. He gets it. He and I have an open revolving door, relationship. We have heated debates. I cuss him out. He cusses me out. People think it's all love and light and it's full spectrum, and they're denying the shadow, and that shadow's coming out and biting people in the ass right now, and it's long overdue. What was I? And my train of thought just derailed. I'm really having a hard time with music. Anyway, so I'm talking to this earth angel, right? Now the people that I have found to be, I'm speaking from my perspective, okay? But what I have come to learn to be true is that the harder, the more, the more people have life experience, They don't just do the average everyday thing, but extraordinary events have happened to them. Things that have where they have had to rely on a power outside themselves, greater than themselves. And when I talk about spirit, power, divine, all that, I'm talking about God, and I'm talking about the only God, the one that I recognize. Yeah, I see that there's all these other gods. You got these. I'm being a hypocrite and a contrarian in myself, recognizing God as my Holy Spirit, because Heyoka, a lot of them, they answer to the thunder gods, and that's not the same God. There's all these different gods, right? And where people's heart space, their vibrational frequency, where that lies within them, is what you're drawn to. So you can see then, oh yeah, you're going to go for all that stuff that tells you just to buy the cars, buy the houses, use the women or the men, whatever, use the people for sex and chasing sensations, and then dump them when you're done, and all that stuff. There are lots of organized religions and organizations that will totally condone that behavior. I am of the heart space that you don't hurt people. You don't hurt people. You don't hurt animals. I'm looking for a more level playing field. That, yeah, I understand that there's a hierarchy in some things, but as far as the human spirit is concerned, we are all the same. We're all connected. It's what we're what we're looking at, what we're programming ourselves, keeps us in a vibe, right? So I've been looking for a lot of and I got to talk to the Sweet Earth Angel today, and this is how you help people. And the reason why I tell people these stories, because I'm not even being a jerk. I really don't think that people know how to be generous, because they haven't been in a position where they've needed to, or where they've needed someone to be generous with them. So they really don't have examples. So I try to that's why I'm not telling people, oh, I do all this wonderful. I'm telling people that maybe it'll plant a seed how they can help in their own local community, right? And this is what, see, because Aunt Jeannie, that's what they call her. A lot of people call her. She's a lot of people's Aunt Jeannie, and I'm blessed to have her in my life. And if it weren't for her, I shudder to think where Mom and I would be. She just took a lot of the stress away from me and Mom by helping us financially. I can make things happen, but I didn't have the finances. And God rest his soul, she lost her dear sweet husband of, I think it's like 42 years or long time. Last year she had to help him transition, and that's not something anybody wants to do. And so since she's passed, she helps people. She helps people like me, and she has this neat little house cleaner to help, because she's got it's a lot for one person. So she has this house cleaner, and this house, she was talking to her house cleaner about how like, what does your husband do? Oh, he does lawn, but he hasn't been getting a lot of work with all this freaking, everybody getting close up. And every state does it different depending on their controllers. They all make it how they want it. It's their own personal kingdoms, these bureaucrats. It's really weird. But they're just allowed to do whatever they want, win whatever they want, and, it's just hard to watch. So anyway, to see people, that do things like, she wrote the woman a check for $1,000 right there on the spot. Can you believe that, Ma? Right there on the spot. People need help, you help them. People don't have that heart space. I think a lot of people didn't get help, so they're like, everybody else can do it themselves too. That ain't no way to be. Things are going to only get weirder. So there's a couple of what else is going on? Oh, I was talking about the coffee shop. So I didn't see eye to eye with this fellow, right? Because he was being selfish, right? And I know what selfish is, because I can be a very, very selfish human being. if I'm not balanced, if I'm not doing my daily disciplines. And I'm grateful to report today that I did meditate for about hour 15 minutes, right? So these are the things that I do to stay in check, right? I don't drink, and I haven't even been doing with flour. I ran out of cookies day before yesterday, and I'm just like, because a lot of the astrologers, you know, it's there's times there's cycles that happen that it's better to just not have anything in your system at all. And so as far as like, you know, medicinal stuff, this is me. I'm talking for me, right? Because I got an addictive personality, and I'm all about escaping, right? My imagination, my whole childhood, I just escaped in my mind. So I hate when the fucking, you know what? I'm annoyed now, because that's the second time that's happened. I really freaking hate music right now. I'm really not liking music. I've never struggled with music as much as I'm struggling with it right now. Oh, so with Venus is in Mars is in Venus right now, so there's a lot of freaking can you see it in the comments? You know where I see it all over the place. I'm seeing it with that freaking, I never liked that guy. He was on Roseanne a couple times, and I listened to him, and I'm like, dude, I can't even hear the message of this man over his freaking ego. You know those people, Mom? That they're just so, they're like so, their opinion of themselves is so broad and so grand that any message of prosperity or anything is just totally, it's all staticked out, because all I hear is his ego, you know? So people are talking trash about Jesse, and Jesse's a boater, you know? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen when you're in a place where you're in public, you know, you're opening yourself up to scrutiny. I'm actually surprised that I do not get more scrutiny on this channel, because I do talk a lot of trash. But my trash talking is based on facts, on how I see things, right? And the thing about that Larry guy, that bishop, you know, mega churches produce mega assholes. Nothing else. I think the mega church should be abolished, and people are coming to find out that you don't have to go to a church, you know, because a lot of these churches say, give the church 10% of your income, and then the little minions go, here, take 20, you know, because I'm a freaking dirtbag, and maybe if I pay the church extra, the church will pray more for me, and then I can just go on being a dirtbag. But that's cool, because the church has got me, right? Right, so the astrology is lining up. Just, you know, we're going through a big old change. Everybody's freaking shifting in some capacity. Some people are going from lower vibrational frequency up to higher. Some people have been in higher frequency, and they're like, F it, man, we don't want to do this no more. We out. And they're going back down to the greedy way. We all have free will. The older you get, if you are allowed, if universe sees it fit that you get to grow older in this incarnation, because a lot of people aren't. My buddy lost a homie last night at the coffee shop. They were supposed to call him last week so he'd come over and say goodbye, and they never did, and then he passed. You know? Maybe one day we'll step into a world where people, the words they say will be congruent to their actions. How much freaking cognitive dissonance does that cause on the planet? People talking out one way, but acting another. It's all lies. So, I'm all over the place today. This Larry guy, right, goes on, and I looked at the twatter things, the stuff he posted, and I listened to the talk, and I had to not listen to it because the guy was so freaking egomaniacal that I didn't even want to listen to him, right? And then a few days later he comes out, oh, Jesse isn't in this picture, you know what? You know how collective consciousness works? Yeah. You know how time travel works? People don't understand these principles because all that they do understand is what, to be true, is what they see on the news and what some freaking, they've made themselves a subordinate. Whatever somebody tells them to believe in, then they're going to believe in it, right? I go by vibration. People are involved. You're involved with the mega church. Well, then you ain't doing it right. Mega churches are doing it right. Remember, Joel. Remember old Joel? $4 million properties. Freaking flood comes, and then he locks his door because he didn't want to get a bunch of freaking people getting his rugs dirty. The same community that made the man freaking a gazillionaire, right? Yeah. You want a connection with spirit? You get out there and you help in your community, and don't help. You go to the bottom of the community. You don't get to go to that's what Jesus did. And supposedly I was listening to Adrienne Elise today, and she was talking about how people are supposed to be coming back into their JC consciousness, their Jesus Christ consciousness, their JC frequency. But what are people going to have to do in order to come into that frequency? Well, material stuff is going to have to become less important. So that tells me right there. When people are talking, I had to stop watching a lot of Jesse's interviews because I didn't really like I don't know. I didn't really like the folks that she was interviewing with. But it has nothing to do with her and her story. So I had to take a break, but and focus on some other things right now. But when I saw that, I was just like, yeah, this is par for the astrology, man. This is what people are. We're going to see so many people attacking other people. It's a trip. I'm already seeing. I saw it in the news. I looked at MSN News today, and what were the things that I saw that let me know that people aren't having emotional control and they're reacting from a fearful place? Well, there's some guy in Southern California threw some girl over the freaking balcony because it was of his opinion that she had evil spirits in her. Well, and I'm seeing these stories that are popping up all over the place. These spirit stories that are people are killing people because they had demons in them and stuff like that. They're just demon. Actually, they're making this guy look bad because they say he's one of those QAnons. Yeah. One reason why I never identify with any sect, denomination, politic, or religion is because there's always people in it that freaking ruin it. There's always people in it that have their own agendas. Even Alcoholics Anonymous, people having their own agendas. So it's just like la la la, we're playing along, making sure everyone stays along. But there's the not the contrarian like me, but the person that imposes opposition, complete opposition, to create a division and a divide. And if you notice in the mainstream right now, there is so much division. It's this versus that. It's the versus, and people are having problems rectifying the shadow and the light themselves, because I see most people know everything's all love and light. Not everyone is all good. Everybody has the potential to do very dark things when put in stressful positions, right? But enough people have created enough bubble on this planet to keep themselves safe where they haven't had to deal with these stressful positions. Then they put themselves in the positions of authority. And they do that because it won't trickle down. They lock these people in that they know that aren't going to help people. Right? And things are changing. Because people... Okay. I sound so freaking redundant because I've been talking about this same stuff for 4 years now. March, it'll be 5 years. Been talking about people calibrating and degaussing and waking up to the ancestral knowledge. Our spirit is our operating system, and that we can, and just like computers, we can wipe our operating system, but it always reestablishes, right? And then our electricity. What are we going to program ourselves? What kind of programs are we going to put in our operating system? Are we going to put programs of health and wellness, you know? Or are people going to continue to choose the masking with drinking, drugs, you know, retail therapy, stuff like that. Read another article on the mainstream today that I was just like, you know why Hollywood wants to keep people in a frame set. That's a big reason why they keep reinventing the wheel. And like, they made a movie and then they just, every few years they remake the movie. And these movies are really never really that they weren't really that wonderful to begin with. What I wonder, how about this for a project? And it's probably already been done, because that's how collective consciousness works. There's nothing new. It's all old. What goes around comes around, all that stuff. But I think about what would have been if it would have stayed Turtle Island. Think about what this country would be or could be if the colonists came over and didn't obliterate all the native and Aboriginal, Indigenous Americans, my ancestors. If we didn't get wiped out, right? They came over and said, hey, show us your ways, right? Now just think about this. If there's a planet, you know, if there's a timeline where the way that was supposed to be is festering like a splinter. That's what I see what's happening. This land is trying to go back to Turtle Island, the heart space in which it was supposed to. And it freaking kills me, man. It kills me when I see ads like freaking my native freaking American brotherin and sisterin and whatever, you know, my heritage ancestors, but I really don't got no tribe. That's why it's so easy for me to talk smack about all these sellouts, because that's what they did. They sold out, dude. They're allowing the freaking muskrat to open a factory or a maintenance facility. I never looked that up. On sacred land. You let an unsacred motherfucker on sacred land because you sold your soul. What? Res guy? Hey, Res guy, you gonna get a new Tesla to drive around? You know? Maybe if all these freaking, you know, these people that are supposed to be spiritual beings didn't sell their soul so fast for money, which isn't even real. But that's how we see how people are. Okay? People show us who they are. That Larry guy talking shit about Jesse and what a fraud and all this stuff. All I hear is him saying, I'm a fraud and I see it in other people. All I see him is talking trash about me. And I know when I talk trash about people, the ego and that lower vibrational behaviors and stuff, I got it all. That's why I'm trying to recognize it and not act like that, because I don't like how it looks when people are selfish and stingy and freaking basically pigs and hogs and all that stuff, you know. It's a different place. The world is changing like that every day. I was sharing today with mom, I was like, every day I'm trying to do something, Mom, to secure a better future for us. Even though I'm trying not to think about what that future is, but as long as it's better, you know. And some days are the same. Like isn't that weird? You could think about it, that under certain conditions, people really could live the same day over. How many people really do? I live the same day over and over with slight variances. But I pretty much get up at the same time, go to sleep at the same time, and everything in between is mostly the same. But I like to mix it up, you know. And that's why it's so important to me to go out and help as many people as I can. Because it doesn't matter what I did yesterday. It doesn't matter what I did last week. It doesn't matter what I did 5 years ago. You know why? Because when people rely on the goodness that they did years ago, some circles call that resting on your laurels. And it doesn't matter what you did before. It's what you continue to do to add positivity in this world. And that ain't always me, man. Some days I'm the asshole. I'm the jerk. Some days I am. Even when I start out with my prayers and my meditations and with my intentions, and I'm just like, don't get riled today, and then I go out and some freaking dipshit freaking pulls out in front of me and then goes like 10 miles under the speed limit. I understand that God's given me an opportunity to practice patience and tolerance. I'm not always compliant with those lessons. Mom. Nope. So, anyway, I never finished the story of the guy at the coffee shop. So, he pulls up. And I was just like, man, I was not in the mood to be like principled, is what the word is. Friendly to people, you know? I just wasn't feeling it, right? So he gets out of his truck and he stands there. And I put the newspaper up. I'm reading my buddy's newspaper. I'm looking at the classified ads because I'm looking at real estate and stuff like that, right? So I put the newspaper up because I'm creating a barrier. I'm just shutting out stuff I don't like. I'm a freaking child. I could be mature, but I can be really immature too. Yeah. Not spiteful. I'm not a spiteful person, but I can be pretty fucking petty. That's for sure. Anyway, so he steps out of the van. He's a large man, kind of shaped like a light bulb, a little bit. And he's standing there, and there's like 6 or 7 of us sitting around in the circle, and he's like, if I could get, you know, some prayers and positivity from you all, I'm asking for it. He got married a few months back, met a nice girl online from the Philippines. She came over here. They got married. He's a relatively large man, too. And so he was like, and he has everybody's attention now, and he's like, if I could, you know, and he's like, and he goes through the story. Saturday she couldn't eat, you know, Sunday they ended up in urgent care after several hours, you know, and then the urgent care tells her that there's an issue that needs to be addressed and that they need to go to a hospital. So, you know, there's all these little hospitals all over the place, but some of them were more popular than others. So it's like you got to call around and see what the waits are, because some over here the wait's like 2 hours, but in here you can walk in and see a doctor. So it's weird, man. You live in a small town. I swear I feel like I live in 1996. When people say, where do you live? I say, in the past. In Taos, New Mexico. So he goes on. He's like, I'm asking for some support right now. And he's like, and they did an x-ray, and his wife is a tiny woman. She's only like 4'10", right? She's very tiny. I think she's 4'9", 4'10". And she has, in a colon, she has a very large tumor. I didn't hear the size, but I think he said it was like softball size. And I was just like, I just freaking put the paper down. Or actually, as soon as he started talking, I put the paper down. And then as soon as he's like, yeah, I could use some extra support, I got up and I went over and I gave that man a hug. Because that's the thing. That's how I am. We don't got to agree on a lot of things. But when it comes down to it, I will meet you in the trenches. Because when a person is hurting, when a person is suffering, that woman is his whole life. He has waited his whole life to fall in love and be in a joyful, happy relationship, and he got it. And it just made me think, you know, we have an opportunity, the older we get, to grow that little spark in our heart, to grow that closer into the frequency of God, Spirit, Jesus Christ, doing the right thing, not being a scumbag and caring more about money and all that materialistic 3D shit that we've all had to endure year after year after year, incarnation after incarnation after incarnation, time and time again. That people need to realize that you don't got to agree with people. You can come from different spaces. But when people need people, we got to be there for them. As much as it freaking is uncomfortable as it is, man. Letting people go through hurtful situations in this life is mean. It's mean. Yeah. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. He broke down. He started crying. He pulled back, he got himself together. And it softened my heart, And then it just reminds me, Marge, you have attitudes and ideologies that don't serve you either. And maybe those are the ones that you need to look at yourself. Because we all have ways that we can raise the vibrational frequency of this planet, including me. I have what people call anger issues. Other people call it. The only issue that I have is that people piss me off. I am not of the violent sort. I do not put my hands on other human beings, myself, animals, when I am angry, because when that vibrational frequency, people don't realize that causes great harm. It can. You're angry and you put your hands on something, that's as toxic as somebody's anger imposed upon themselves, People are coming in to figure out what this alchemy is, man. My whole life, everything is alchemy. Everything is alchemy to me. Everywhere I look, I see alchemy. When I cook, it's alchemy. When people engage with one another, it's alchemy, because I'm looking at air, fire, earth, and water, and how they engage with one another in society or in nature, and how people's personality engage in the same manner. Think about it. You got a fire sign, you got a water sign. That could be a really steamy affair. But sometimes steam can burn. It's all contingent on the balance of the individual. And are people really putting the effort out to stay balanced? They don't take the time. I used to be one of them. I don't have an hour a day I have too much stuff I need to do. I can't meditate an hour a day. But you know what? If that's the stuff that makes the rest of the 23 hours on the planet freaking bearable, see, that's the thing. People make time. You got to make time. Time isn't going to just show up for you. It doesn't even work like that. People got to make time. You got to make room for the things that are important. So I get my feelings hurt a lot. My phone doesn't ring a lot. I don't have a big social calendar. I don't have a lot of friends, stuff like that. I don't get a lot of likes, stuff like that. So I also found that when I go within, that I can always find the support that I need when I go within. And I hope that other people learn how to do that. And I hope that maybe I could teach a person a thing or two on how to go within and find peace and serenity, because there's going to be less and less of it on the external world. And the bigger city you live in, oh my lawn. Because you know why things happen? Because people talk about things happening, and people believe that things are happening. When perception is reality. When people believe in the reality of a situation, that reality spreads like wildfire. And for all those people that don't believe in the pedophiles and stuff like that, go check out. I freaking dig this chick. She's the she's the lady body language. The Body Language Ghost is her channel. And she put out a video about 7 hours ago with the FBI criminal behavior. And it's just like, dude, these guys get paid way too much to not do much of anything, And they talk about this after that gymnast coach was brought up on charges for being inappropriate with all those tiny young girls, After that, they got 70 more complaints about the man, and the FBI did nothing to follow it up. Because look at all this stuff. Look at that Duggar dude, that 19 and counting guy. He got in trouble for years ago for having child pornography on his computer, and his dad took it upon himself. Basically made declarations that his son wasn't going to jail. He's going to send him to a rehab facility. And what happened? Last year, his son did it again. They don't care. They don't reform, man. 9 times out of 10, they don't reform. They just act like they do. So, More and more of this stuff is coming out. What are we going to do to help people? What am I going to do? Not we. I speak in general terms, but I need to speak more for myself. What am I going to do to help this spiritual triage, you know? What am I going to try? There is no try or try not. There's just do. I know there's days I'm just going to keep my little happy ass home. I know that for sure. Huh, Mom? Mom says it's better to stay out of trouble than get out of trouble. And I've learned that to be true my whole entire life. So I think that's about all I got. I'm curious as to see what George the Iceman, how he's going to address that. Let's see. Sometimes I'll find stories and then I'll take screenshots. Oh, this was on Twatter. I hate ads. And I'll talk trash on ads. This is for Disney, blah 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 blah, Soka. You know, I just thought that was kind of is that your kid? And they even got the pedal little swirl in there too for, you know. And we all know that, you know, how Disney is. But what we're gonna see more and more of these companies. See, I should do a talk of and by itself. I did it 1 year ago, but it's time to do a refresher because a lot of my old video talks get buried. We're coming into an age that the heart space of greed will not succeed. Okay? It's the consciousness that there's abundance, that you want enough for everyone and you just want everyone to be good and all that stuff. People are going to choose if that's going to prevail or not. I'm choosing that's going to prevail. So when I go out and I have exchanges, I'm going to try and be as positive as I can. And for me, that ain't always an easy feat. Especially when people are jerks. So I'll look at stuff during the day and then I'll take screenshots so I can talk about it later. I think it's funny because I take pictures and I send them to my laptop from my phone to my laptop so I can use the thumbnail. Now, it's always the same. Yet, when I do it, Mac, for some reason, it changes the root, oh God, I can't think of what it's called right now. I'm tech-tarded right now. The end, the dot, like the file system. It changes the file system. And so it depends on what browser I'm using, but like if I use Chrome, if I use Safari, and I do it the regular way, or the way I do it, it's not browser specific. It's really tricky. But if I use Safari and import it as the thumbnail, and it's a background, it'll say this is not a portrait. But if I do the same thing in Chrome, it'll upload it, but I have to do it, I have to send the screenshot, because if I send the actual picture, it'll say the file image is too large, and then I can't use the picture. So if I take a screenshot of the picture and then send it, then it's small enough. But it's weird because every time I do that, it changes the file structure on it, even though I do it every time. That's why it's like technology, man. If you can get your stuff to work, be glad. Be glad. So there's a lot of turnover right now. A lot of things shifting, a lot of things changing. I just got notice that veterans can interest fees for National Park Service and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and standard and mini recreation fees. Look at all these offices make these declarations to say that veterans don't have to pay to go into parks. The stuff the people that pay themselves to give us permission to do, you know. I think that's about all I got. How is everybody else out there doing tonight? I've been talking for 39 minutes and I got no chat. I see nothing in my chat. So, but I don't usually have people that really chat it up much. Anyway. Where is it? Key Jin should start freaking putting her stuff out. Her premieres and... Wait a minute. It's late. She hasn't. I hope everything's all right. Oh, look! Hi, Spirit Tree Revival. Hi, Nathan. No, and I've seen that proof. But that's the thing is I understand how other dimensions work. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not true. But even if she said, and when I think about all of the lies in the world, if like every human being that say, like, I everybody lies. I lie. I try not to lie, but I'll lie to freaking make things easier. I have, in my home and stuff like that. But it's like, what pick your battles. What are you going to lie about, right? And how often? What's the importance and the significance of it, right? So yeah, people lie like 4% of the time, and I've known people that's all. Everything out of their fucking mouth is a lie, and I don't believe that's to be true about Jessie. I don't believe that to be true about Jessie. I mean, I listen to her stories, and people want to know that stuff doesn't happen. Stuff doesn't happen. I'm here to attest that the stuff that she does talk about and facts happen. It's always happened. People denounce that it happened so that they continue to make it happen. I just people can do whatever they want. I believe in the woman. No? I believe in the woman. And whether it's that instance, and I've heard that before, and maybe it is her, maybe it isn't, but mostly more than 50.1% or whatever, I believe in her. So I'm going to continue to believe in her unless God gives me more evidence and verification, But I don't have any fucking faith in any guy in a mega church at all. Because money isn't real. And when people are selling God shit for a cost, yeah, you're just as big as a hypocrite, dude. You suck just as much. Yeah. Yep. Hi, Aaron. I'm so happy to see you. I think about you a lot, Aaron. See, I'm looking at my chat over here. Because I don't see it over here. So, be supportive of people. You don't gotta like them just to get through that moment, man. So that's sometimes that's what the greatest earth angel is just coming into people in that moment and being there for them then, and that's it. I've been that for a lot of people. And a lot of people have unfriended me after that, but you know what? They can never take away when I was there for them in a crunch. And I think that a lot of people can't rectify the fact that they can't handle other people's emotions. So when things get tough, the weak get going. And I'm the one that runs into the fire. Always have been. Always have been. I run at the danger. Always have been. And I hope it doesn't change. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate people tuning in and spending time with me. I haven't been sleeping. Last night was rough. Mom didn't sleep last night too. And when I got up and came out, I was like, Mom, how'd you sleep? I ask her every morning. Oh, fitfully. I tossed and turned and I was like, dang, Mom, next time that happens, when I can't sleep, I'll just get up and come out and we'll watch some Sheldon. And we'll laugh until we get tired again. Okay, Ma? So I pray for those out there that are struggling. There's a lot of people freaking struggling, man. And I'm just like, I'm trying to get to you guys, man. I'm trying to get to you guys. Well, now a rule of thumb that I learned a long time ago when I used to go to a lot of A to A meetings and stuff like that is that I'm not going to frickin' cut my own nose off to spite my own face. And what that means to me is I'm not going to help another human being more than they're willing to help themselves. And I look around and I see people that aren't willing to do things for themselves. They're just waiting for somebody else to do it for them. It's like, you do a little bit for you, I'll help you. Kind of thing. But people that just want you to do stuff for them, man, you're going to be doing stuff for them, and you ain't going to be able to get your own stuff done because you're going to be so tied up